Hey everyone, my name is Wicks, and welcome to the Bold channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the user-centered design process and how UX designers use it to solve problems and bring new features and products to life. Alright, let's get started. Now, before shooting this video, I wanted to see what definition was out there for user-centered design or user-centered design process. And what I found was this. User-centered design is an iterative design process in which designers focus on the users and their needs in each phase of the design process. In user-centered design teams involve users throughout the design process via a variety of research and design techniques to create highly usable and accessible products for those users. Now, that's a mouthful. I'm going to break this down using some examples. To start though, let's focus on some key terms in that definition. Iterative, user focus and user needs, research, and then finally usable and accessible. And I'd go one step further and say that these keywords, these key terms, are the foundation of user-centered design or the user-centered design process. Additionally, I'd probably rework the definition to something more like the user-centered design process is an iterative process in which product teams, including design, research, engineers, and product managers, use research to understand user needs so that they are able to create highly usable and accessible products. So to summarize, the user-centered design process helps designers design better experiences and products because they're constantly focusing on who they're building the product for, and they're testing with those same users along the way. Now let's look at an example using a made-up product so we could see how the user-centered design process is applied to real products in the real world. Let's say you're a designer working for a company that makes an app where pet owners could meet up for play dates for their pets. This app lets you friend other pet owners, find nearby parks, schedule play dates for these pets, but you just found out that a new feature has been prioritized, and maybe the new feature allows pet owners to upload videos of their pets, so the other pet owners could get to know that person's pet more. Right, so that's the new feature. So at this phase of the project, you're going to want to do a few things to really understand the needs of this feature and why it's important to users and the business. Some examples could be, what do users expect from this feature? How do they expect it to work? And finally, what are some of the business goals around this feature? This is one of the first, and I'd say maybe more important parts of the user-centered design process, where you're really trying to understand everything you can before you actually start designing anything. And this is also where you might partner with a researcher, or if you don't have a researcher, plan on doing some research yourself to do just that, to immerse yourself into the space, into the feature, and really understand what it is you're about to design for. Don't be surprised if the research helps you uncover more problems or new opportunities. It's typical during the early research phases to actually learn things that you didn't know before, and that's actually a good thing for users. Now, after taking the time to really understand the space and the users and the business, you'll find that you're better equipped to actually start generating ideas. Now, as you're ideating, as you're coming up with these ideas, sketches, wireframes, and prototypes, it's also important to note that you'll be testing with real users as well. So you'll be testing these ideas, iterating and refining based on user feedback. Basically, the reason why the user-centered design process is known as an iterative process is because you're constantly refining, testing, and refining again based on user feedback and also the business feedback as well. You'll also be speaking with business partners internally, stakeholders, to make sure that they're aligned with the approaches you're taking with design. So I'd say the design process or the user-centered design process must include a balance of user needs as well as business needs. After doing all this work to make sure that what you designed is the best solution for your users as well as for the business, you'll be working with engineers to make sure that a high-quality product is built and launched. In my own experience, that usually means I'm just in support mode as a designer. I'm making sure that my engineer partners have the latest mock-ups, the latest designs that they could reference as they code the experience. I also might test features as they build them as well to make sure that they function properly and work properly before being launched. Finally, once all that testing is done and you launch, there's still more testing. You're basically checking to see how users are responding, as well as seeing if the feature is meeting the business goals. And it's also not uncommon for the process to start all over again. Maybe the business goals aren't being met, and you as a designer, you'd work with your stakeholders to look at why that's happening and start the process all over again with understanding why it's not working and going through the iterative design process until you find the best solution. And that's the design process, folks. At least that's my definition of the process, or the way I would describe the steps. If you speak to other interaction designers or product designers, they may explain it differently, but this is how I've summarized it and how I've applied it to my own work. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thanks for checking this out.